Hello everyone. Well, my brother's wedding went very well. Thankfully, the reception is not till this evening, so... And also with my back still staying over the medicine they gave for making kind of loop, I thought I'd do something a little different with this Pokemon in the future, and rest assured my usual stuff is still coming. But to this day, I think I'll definitely do something different, experiments with some coverage of Pokemon commercials. Yes, the series itself, in many ways, has kind of become one, and also, by this point, and there to be expected whenever there's a new piece of media or game coming out. However, when the series began, and 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 they were very strange, and also, like a lot of average heard, especially for video games in the 90s, early 2000s, they were bizarre. So, I will look over some of them today, give you a little review there, and also, definitely because of how there's got more stuff coming out this week. Least of all, the Virtual Console release of Golden Silver, and I'm also not going to be going in particular order or focusing on any one generation in particular. But I'm going to cover as many as I can in the time I give myself. So let's take a look back at some old Pokemon commercials. Man, that's so. It's very well documented here that the special one for Nintendo Power is quite a strange beast. I mean, that's his and which previewed everything. I mean, the TV series, the Red and Blue games, all the merchandise coming out at the time, and I mean, even though it's shown up in various forms online since then, I never actually had that tape myself. I actually didn't even know about it until very recently. Hey, it's a rather curious piece of history given how having some of the kids in that time frame, as well as sort of Ash's unknown relatives, as well as his science teacher of all people. Very amusing given what's going on in Generation 7 right now. I mean, in hindsight, I mean, that's kind of some of the best humor you can get, kind of like hilarious in hindsight sense. And also, I never ever noticed it before, but some of the old ones, and I mean, kind of very much, actually a bit dark. I mean, that's, I find certain subtext there. Case in point, is one of the earlier ads for Red and Blue, where the guy, his bus driver has a lot of anime Pokemon on the bus. Drives to some junkyard and puts them in a compactor, but it turns into a Game Boy. Right, and wow. And I remember that one alien a tail in all my Pokemon tapes, when I was younger. Yes, fellas, I'm old enough to know what VHS tape is. That's is and so and even given how other people felt in those days, I just want some people to know that I have a very tendency of being very blunt no matter what I talk about. I very rarely say anything I can't stand behind, so if I were to say that the whole bit from my associate in Chicago, his edit was nothing personal, I wouldn't be lying. On that note, I think I'll switch gears here real quickly and how talk about a similarly bizarre commercial who show for a different reason when the game was first released in Japan. It's very well documented how even in that country they were initially believed that it wouldn't be big, let alone become the phenomenon this day. And also the strange adverts has a bunch of people, including a very perky young woman wanting a trade. Forgiving the euphemisms, ums, I would definitely say, hey, that's like a lot of Japanese video game commercials, even today. They're certainly very strange entities, but it goes to territory when you're having a bunch of ones like Electric Mouse, a tortoise of water cans coming out of its shell, a big fire lizard that's like a dragon until years later, or a massive kaiju with a palm tree coming out of its back. I mean, that's like, I mean, and this kind of very quirky, very 90s, early 2000s, and thing persisted for quite a bit. I mean, for all the first few generations series, which I'm going to be covering for the most part here. I'll probably, depending on how this video is received, I'll do another one uh, for the subsequent generations. And moving right along, a lot of the commercials for the toys were also pretty trippy. I mean, illustrate this. I mean, one-side figurines such as this Pikachu here, my first kind of Hasbro Pikachu, which are definitely like a version of the original Tomy ones. I think this may have been before Molly Rose with Carl, I'm not sure. And here is a JP one on my other hand for a similar deal. I mean, given how it's slightly different material, but yeah, if they actually treated them as if they were the fearsome monsters. I mean, we had them all the stock footage of old monsters from the 50s. I mean, we had them show up at weird places. I mean, he says, and also Meowth in a pizza box. Well, he always did have a thing for food. I mean, food given what's going on. And as for the whole thing about the electronic Pikachu figure being profane, if you press it hard enough, it's an urban legend. I mean, it's no different than like the whole thing of the Minion figurine in this day and age. But while I'm on Meowth, there's also another commercial for Pokemon Yellow, in Japan, where which also featured Meowth out at this Oden, and drowning his sorrows, lamenting how he isn't as popular as Pikachu, who is in. It's actually very strange, kind of surreal. I mean, it's kind of like that part heard in the Island Giant Pokemon where they're at some kind of place eating and drinking and just rambling like a bunch of salarymen. I mean, I'm not entirely sure that's milk that he was drinking, and also kind of helps that the whole commercial is actually done by Meowth's Japanese voice actress Megumi Hayashibara, if you forgive me because I'm not entirely sure I'm pronouncing that surname correctly. I mean, but I'm also going to lampshade some other things going on, given how they advertised this stuff once they knew what they had quite extensively in those days. I mean, I mean, close to every break that wasn't showing the show because of these weird rules of the FCC. He had the adverts. I mean, okay. As I was saying, that's one of these things that excited us quite a bit was a little thing called the Pokemon Pikachu. I mean, I'm not sure what happened to mine, man. I'm not sure how many people actually remember that toy, but I do. I mean, since it was like a little pedometer, like a digital pet version that you could interact with. I mean, since it was a precursor, among other things, the Pokewalker for Pokemon Soul Silver, the Pokemon Army, Pokemon Fresh features in Generation 6 and 7, as well as the Pokemon Go game, how you can bond with those. Those main. And maybe, as a hindsight, maybe curious on why I'm a bit of Street Pass junkie, why because of me being so addicted to that toy, and also the Sea Watches. I think I used to have one of those Avon, also not sure what happened to it. I mean, that's. Theoretically, I've got knocking around somewhere to put fresh batteries in it, but I don't entirely know what the deal was. I mean, since. And before we had all these phone apps, apps could do this sort of thing, and that was basically a top of the line in 1998, or 99. And also the success, crossed over into other kinds of motions like some of the ads that have a BK which they using that also helps help me get way through. Because apparently because I'm going in the water those days, I actually had lead poisoning. And again, and because of the toys being the first couple movies, having them tied in there, also some of the games, well, I think I had some of the ones from the second movie, Gold and Silver, somewhere, as well as the first movie. I had so many orders of chicken tenders and hamburgers from that, man. I mean, that was one of the things I did to keep my lead poisoning. I took a lot of vitamins and had a lot of protein-rich foods. Yeah, and even the Pokeball thing had a recall hold. That's all I also had for return the extra ones and some in the little bags of fries for that, man. If you're forgetting here that talking about a less amusing one in that case. But in order to bring the mood back up, TV series also quite closely promoted as well. I mean, before Kids TV picked it up, a bit my area in syndication my area, so I just came across the adverts. It's on my UPN affiliate when I was in between watching ones of Beast Wars of Sailor Moon, and I also noticed that was the art style which stood out at me. It made me very distinct and also they promoted it quite extensively and even had unique ones in that area. I also kind of like some of the bumpers they had with Brock's voice, Eric Stewart, with the "We'll be right back," and I'm back to the show. It's not quite as catchy as ABC's "After these messages, we'll be right back," but pretty close for me at least. And even when Kids TV did get the show, they also took full advantage of what they had. All these strange little mashups with the other programs at the time. That's some of the crossovers were pretty interesting, like the ones I had with Pinky and Brain, as well as with people in Batman with Tim Drake being some Jeffrey Puff song. Including stuff that people barely remember, like Hysteria and the baby be drooling all over everyone. Yeah, I had to see how many of these I can find, given how just something I came up with last night. Kind of inspired with some of my associates on the website, looking at old commercials, and also it's not just big ones like ones. People that actually I've seen like other commercials like ones that like Brand of the Past, Tamashi Hiroka, Unlisted Leaf, Chatron. The list goes on and on and on, which really says something about this, and also the Game Boy games kept going on like this, and the ones of Gold and Silver who were pretty entertaining too. They made several ones, such as one how treating like an academy, gradually Gold and Silver. Which is interesting, given how Gold and Silver were actually the first two ones I actually beat the main quest on. I never actually beat Red, Blue, and Yellow host league until I got the virtual consoles last year. And so basically, beating those ones are my dreams since I was 10, and I have beaten those games multiple other times since then. Actually, quite nice to level up your monsters that way. That's been something you can also do again and again, and and also wrap this up, Generation 3, which is basically when I started to experiment with other stuff, and even though it was still reasonably popular by then, that was where a lot of people like me started getting older as I move on to other things. But also kind of like how the one where I actually had the anime Pokemon, the new ones introduced in Generation 3, alongside people that kind of resemble them. That's some of them are pretty amusing, like the old grandma looks kind of like a Zigzagoon, the kid with earmuffs and more looks like Mudkip, and also this punk rocker hooker that looks like Groudon. I'm not sure what the resemblance between a punk rock and a big ground kaiju, but hey, sometimes Madison Avenue has some crazy idea here. I mean, here's like actually putting Jamie Kennedy on E3 or the infamous Mr. Caffeine. But anyway, I certainly hope you enjoyed my riff on some of these bizarre Pokemon commercials, which I hope you enjoyed it, and if depending on how this video is here, we'll do more, and don't worry, I will get back to doing the videos I actually want to do, and you actually want to see, like my look at the Genesis movie, more my XYZ reviews, Golden Soul Command Virtual Console, and also some of my stuff for my Batman and Superman marathon. I'm definitely working on scripts for Superman 2 and Batman Returns, so... And because I'm also going to go see Kingsman Golden Circle, probably going to see a really quick look at the first Kingsman. So, I'll talk to y'all later, so gotta catch them all.